Right now, we welcome in former PGA Tour golfer and one of the greatest personalities the PGA Tour has ever known. He is Peter Jacobson, who's in town doing a golf clinic out at Windermere Country Club. Right, Peter?
I am. I'm doing a clinic today, and I'm also working at the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week for NBC Sports. So it's good to be back in town.
Peter, tell us a little bit about the clinic you're giving today out at Windermere Country Club.
Well, it's sponsored by a company called Exactech, and I had my knee replaced about two and a half years ago, and Exactech was the company that made the prosthetic knee, or I should say the knee replacement, the joint that went in my knee, and I've been able to get back to playing full time on the Champions Tour, and I don't have any pain, so they've been sponsoring a few clinics like this around the country, and we're doing one today out of Windermere Country Club, and they're going to discuss options for knee surgery and knee replacement and talk about how you can still compete and play in golf, play recreational golf or play tournament golf at the clinic. So we're going to have some fun.
What time's that clinic?
It's at 3 o'clock at Windermere Country Club.
Peter, moving on to the Arnold Palmer Invitational, you will be commentating on that this weekend. There's sort of a changing of the guard going on in the world of golf right now with all of these young guns, these under 30 golfers sort of making a statement. Is that just the natural progression of things, or are golfers getting better earlier?
There's no question that it is the natural progression of things. Golfers do get better. You look at the players from 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I think the players have more knowledge, they're more skilled, they've got better equipment to play. So I think it's natural, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think the players of today really are prepared to win. Back when I came on tour, and I think I speak probably for all the guys that came out 30, 40 years ago, it took a while to learn how to win because you had to get with it. Now it's college ready to win, and a lot of times they do win. So it's a natural changing of the guard, and it's happening. It is happening.
Peter, when you played on tour, I mentioned you were one of the great personalities on the PGA Golf Tour. Do you think there's enough of that anymore? Because it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of guys who who play good golf, but also can make you laugh a little bit.
Well, I think players, it's serious business now. There's no question. There's a lot of money at stake. People have a chance to make their life. They can make $10-15 million in a hurry out here, and they're set for life. But I agree that we need to make sure that we do everything we can to entertain the fans. That's why people come out to watch. People come out to watch because they love to watch great golf, and they love to watch the competitors beat each other's brains out down the stretch. But they also come out because they like the game and they want to get to know the players. And that's why players like Bubba Watson and Matt Kuchar and Ricky Fowler are such a breath of fresh air, because they're kind of like the characters of old. And we need those characters. There's no question. I would never tell a player that he has to act a certain way while he's out on the golf course. But I think we have to make sure that when we're off the golf course, whenever we're done with our round and we're moving on to the interview area or the practice area, a few smiles and a few handshakes are not going to hurt you, and they go a long ways.
Does your band ever get back together, Jake Trout and the Flounders, or is that defunct now?
Well, it's defunct because when Payne Stewart was killed, we decided to end that. We didn't feel like doing it without Payne.
Do you miss him?
Oh yeah, I think the world of golf misses him. He's one of those characters we were just talking about that are hard to replace.
Can you talk about the European influence in golf right now? When you look at the world golf rankings, a lot of Europeans at the top of those rankings. Is that an indictment on American golf, or is that just that the European golfers are stepping up?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I do not think it's an indictment on the American players, and I'm very upset. This is a topic that really touches a hot button with me.
Mm-hmm.
The world rankings are very skewed. A lot of it's basically comparing apples and oranges. The United States Tour, the PGA Tour, doesn't pay appearance fees, yet the European Tour does pay appearance fees. So when these top European players play in their home country, they get paid to play. And a lot of these countries that don't have the purse level the American Tour does, they can pay their players. They can pay Tiger and Mickelson and Rory McIlroy and Lee Westwood and Martin Keimer. They can pay them to go play in Dubai or Abu Dhabi or one of the tournaments over there.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, the value of a win overseas is greater than a value of a win here in the United States. So the perception is the United States golfers, the American golfers, aren't as good as the European golfers or aren't as good as they used to be. That is totally wrong. And I think that's a mistake the PGA Tour made to put these world rankings to kind of create a world tour. And I think that anybody at Ponte Vedra at the PGA Tour headquarters to admit it, it's a runaway train. And I don't know if they can rein it back in anymore or not.
Peter, we had on Eric Casillas, who hosts Morning Drive on the Golf Channel, and he said if he were filling out an NCAA tournament bracket going into the Arnold Palmer Invitational, he would not have Tiger Woods as a number one seed. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have Tiger as a number one seed right now, but I think he's working back to a number one seed. I'd probably have him at a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Tiger's making the right moves. I think he's working hard on his game. He's all in with Sean Foley. And when you take a player like Tiger with that kind of talent and that perseverance, even given all the personal anguish he's gone through, I think you're going to see him back in the winner's circle. Would it surprise me that he wins this week? Not at all. But I wouldn't have him as number one seed. I'd have him as a 2.
Peter, we were just talking, though, about the young guns now on tour, the golfers are getting younger. Do you think Tiger will ever dominate like he once did? Because I say no, simply because he's getting older and the other golfers are coming up.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to dominate. I don't think you're going to see Tiger win 6, 7, 8, 9 tournaments anymore, partly because he is getting older. But I also don't think that's his focus any longer. Mm-hmm. He's now a father of 2, and his kids are getting older, and I don't have to explain what that means to a parent when we start talking about T-ball games and Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and dance recitals and gymnastics classes. He wants to be there with his kids. Now, do I think he's going to get back to the winner's circle? Absolutely. Do I think he can win majors again? Yes, he can definitely do that. But I think his days of being obviously a young man are behind him, so his focus is going to change.
Peter, last thing, Johnny Miller. Give me your opinion of Johnny Miller.
Johnny Miller says some of the most outrageous things I've ever heard. Johnny at NBC this year has been really an educational experience because he's got such great insight into a player's mind because he won so many major championships, and he's really cerebral. I know a lot of stuff he says, people go, what is insightful, and he's always been heroes. He and Arnold Palmer were 2 guys that I really, really loved out here when I came on tour, mostly because Johnny knows who he is to his friends and family, but who he is to the competitors on the golf course. And he's very respectful to the other players when he was playing, but he's a tough broadcaster on the players that are playing today. Believe me, working with a guy like Johnny is always fun and always exciting.
He is Peter Jacobson, former PGA Tour player and one of the most interesting personalities and commentators on tour. He will be giving a free clinic, Exact Tech free clinic at Windermere Country Club today at 3 o'clock. Peter, thanks a lot.